Hey everybody, welcome to All-American Airborne Services and All-American Airborne Adventures. We're going to go out to Blackwood Church today. Hey everybody, it's Will with All-American Airborne Services. I took an opportunity to fly the Blackwood Church area here. It was kind of the closest place that I could find that I thought might have deer around. And so what you're watching here is me beginning to look around. I started across the road, but then really quickly realized that there were not going to be any deer over there, and so I started heading on the other side. And you'll see me fly along here, and I quickly find a deer here. And what I have to do is actually back up the drone so that I can peek through the hole. That's what you see me doing there to find the deer. The doe that's sitting there in the planted pines. So that's what we're looking at there. So this is the first marker that I actually place on the screen here. And so let's check that out. So this is pin 22, and looks like there was those two doe laying there. Now let's call that 3 doe. Alright, so I do some more searching here in the area where I thought I might find some deer, and found absolutely nothing. So I come back home, land, put a new battery in, and we're about to take off for the second mission here. You see me planning it, where we're going. Taking off here at Blackwood Cemetery. So as I take off, I'm turning, looking over that road, and this is the area that I'm looking back over. I just flew all over that area to the left and didn't find anything, and there I am going to head towards the diamond there, number 22. You can see that in the sky there, and so we're going to head that way. Alright, so we got back to number 22, and sure enough, there's the deer again we found before. So we know that, we can go back to the same spot and see the things again. And so that's exciting. So these deer are just straight up hidden, man. You can't find them in there. They are tucked in tight, boy. Tight as thick. One of the things I've noticed about doe is that they bed really tight, close to one another, and the bucks seem to have an equal spacing between them. So there's pin 24. So here's that first little buck I see. Look at that, he's got like a nub on one side, maybe like a spike cow horn kind of thing. He doesn't look like he's lost it yet, but this is how you expect to see the bucks, right? They're kind of all alone, and they're here along the edge of the river. So what's this next one we're going to find? Look at there, I messed around. I didn't even mark this one. The buck that's not even marked. battery here, and it's time to bring her on home and set her down. You can see what we've done there. You can see kind of the hot spots for the does, the hot spots for the bucks. Here's we bring her home on flight number 2. All right, off we go on flight number 3 for the afternoon. You can see our waypoints out there. So I'm going to head out there towards where those bucks are. Here's a nice buck right here. I had to do a little bit of maneuvering to get to him, but this is a nice way to end that afternoon there with a little, probably an 8-point sitting in there. Maybe 6. So here's where the afternoon flight kind of ends. I find a couple of more doe here. One of the things that I realize is that I'm not being next to Diamond 28. I'm actually not being as diligent as I should be about putting the diamond in. So here I come back at nighttime, and I'm going to go back into that same area again. I'm flying from a different place now. I'm flying from the Blackwood church instead of the cemetery, and I'm headed back into this space. One of the things that comes obvious pretty quickly is that when it turns dark, the deer come out into the fields and they don't hang out in the woods as much. So now I've gone back to where I found deer earlier, and I'm just beginning to look for where the rest of the deer are. I found some out in the field there, and for the rest of this flight, I'm just going to fast forward through and watch as I zoom around. I found the paved road and went back in, and I found deer that just want to hang out in the fields and in the edges, and they're all out there and running around, and it's a really cool thing to see. And then as I pull up here at the end, it's really neat to see all the deer that are out in the field. We saw a couple of deer there that seemed to be bedded down by the river, by the creek. I'll tell you, those were the bucks, man. If you find some deer down by the creek, that's the bucks right there. All right, so coming into land and then taking off again for the next flight of the evening. You can see those diamonds are really starting to show up out there. I searched around in the woods for a long time looking and trying to find, and them deer are out in the fields, and it becomes pretty obvious where the deer are. And so I fly around a little bit and quickly begin to kind of think about and look at where I've flown and what's happening and where the deer are. And you know, it's neat kind of flying around and seeing the deer gather in the fields in the hours of darkness. And that's kind of what we're watching here. And I'm just flying to different places and seeing what I see. And the deer that I'm finding are not, you know, in the woods necessarily as much as they're out in these fields. You know, I wonder if we were to go back and look at number 23, if those 3 deer that we saw in the field were actually at Diamond 23 earlier. You know, I think that's probably what it was. And you can see how those deer got up from their bedding location and then went out to that field. Here's some deer that are really close to the road. And a little house, about 3 of them, hanging out there underneath some pecan trees, it looks like. All right, so we close it out after this, bring it on home, and then we'll bring it up the next morning. Okay, so this is the next morning, and we're gonna fly and see what we see. There's a picture. So here's a buck. Looks like he's lost one side, either to a fight or it's already shed. I don't know, but he's a moving. I'm flying along here, just gridding the area, looking for deer, and it's in pretty bright sunshine at this moment. One of the things that's neat as I come by here is I'm going by diamond number 23, and I see those 3 deer that were right back there where they were before, you know, beside 23 and 49. And we saw them bedded down there yesterday afternoon. We saw them in the field very close to there at night, and then they haven't gone very far. They're right back there close to Diamond 23, and it's like the family of doe live right in that area. And so it also looks like these bucks live down by the riverbed. Like here, we're looking at a buck that we found. He's kind of a nubby buck. He's got one that's kind of broken off, but another, like his left side, looks pretty good. But I played with him for a while here. He's kind of sprawled out in the swamp here, but that's where these bucks are now. These bucks are down by the water, down close to the river. They're not, hanging out here close to the fields when they bed down. Every one of them is right down there close. Like I just passed one I saw as I go on the screen, that maybe I missed it when I was flying by. But you see these big bucks that are down closer away from the fields and closer to the river. There's a deer moving through. I'm chasing it. Yeah, there's a buck. He's moving. Yep, so he's out of sprawling, they're at diamond number 58. That bug was definitely moving out. One of the things that, if there's bucks or deer if there's deer that are bedded close together, like really close, like these two are, then they're doe mostly. If they're kind of off on their own or in groups that are highly separated, almost like soldiers that are in defensive positions, when you see deer that are spread out equally distant apart, that is a good sign that you're looking at a buck. So as we close this out, here is the Blackwood Church area that I just kind of surveyed. The area we're flying over I thought would have more deer than it does, but we don't get the deer until we get back to the diamonds here. And back here where 28 and 29, you see all these diamonds, that's where the deer start to show up. And so we fly through here and just think about the area and the creeks, and you see what we're looking at here. And this is the Blackwood Church area and where I found the deer. I'm going to tell you, the bucks were down by the water, and the does were grouped together. And that's what I definitely noticed. I also noticed that the does were closer to the food plots and came out in big groups at nighttime, and the does were definitely closer to the creeks and the water, and were grouped in more looser knit groups if they were together at all. This is Will with All American Airborne Services. We flew the Blackwood Church area. If you got any benefit out of this, if you liked it, please subscribe. We appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out a lot. Have a good day.